The first update for Sonic Frontiers has dropped and introduced a number of new modes and features. But that's not all. Players have found files under the surface of this update that could confirm what we can expect in the future. With that said, let's jump right into it. So what's new in Update 1 of Sonic Frontiers? First, let's cover the modes. We have a new mode called Battle Rush, which isn't quite the boss select that people have hoped for initially, but I honestly think this is a really good mode. In this mode, you don't just fight the Titans, but every enemy iteration you would encounter on any given island. It's essentially like a boss rush that includes enemies, and I think it's a great idea. I feel like it gives the mode a little more meat to it, and I found it fun to try to get through all the enemy variations as fast as I can. My favorite thing about this update is the incentivization it gives you for playing well. For example, if you get all S ranks in this mode, you'll unlock a brand new difficulty level called Extreme Mode. And that name does not lie. This difficulty level is pretty crazy. First off, your rings? Pointless. You get hit once and it's game over. It's so much scarier coming at this guy knowing like he could absolutely destroy me in a second! And that goes for everything you encounter, making the Titan bosses harder than they've ever been. Damn, wait, I just thought about the lasers! If one laser touches me, I'm dead! The smallest projectiles that you never even thought of before can now mean the difference between life and death. Woo! If I didn't hold that down, oh my god, I would be dead right now. But that's not all. No. Sonic stats don't increase in this mode. That's right, you are stuck at level 1 attack, defense, speed, and ring capacity throughout the entire adventure, making even the simplest of enemies hard mini-bosses. So, good luck! You said you wanted more of a challenge, and Kishimoto heard you loud and clear. What?! Oh, and speaking of which, you know how many of the complaints everyone had, including myself, was how easy the cyberspace levels were and how you wanted more of a challenge like you got in 1-2? Well, in extreme mode, every level is the most strict it's ever been. I'm not joking. It took all of my effort to pass these with an S rank, where most of the time, I was just barely passing by the skin on my teeth. And that's using the techniques I learned from speed strats. Which, by the way, I totally recommend. It's a really great series I didn't work on, I'm not biased. I used the homing dash and the rail launching, and I still just barely passed most of the time. Which, mind you, the game marks your time with an asterisk to show if you used one of those moves. Because, you know, you didn't already feel invalidated enough. Thanks, Sonic Team, you absolute lunatics! I'm just kidding, I still love you. So yeah, if you're a Sonic veteran like me and you want more challenge in Sonic Frontiers, do yourself a favor and unlock Extreme Mode. It may just scratch that itch. And I honestly found it to be a fun challenge to run through the entire game again. Next up, we have the Cyberspace Challenge Mode. In this mode, you race through all the cyberspace levels to get the best possible ranking, like you did in Battle Rush. If you beat all the cyberspace stages with an S rank, you unlock the ability to do the power boost in cyberspace stages, which is pretty neat, but I swear it doesn't mean anything in 2D sections. You still feel like you're moving uncomfortably slow in those, and it made me wonder if Sonic has like a speed cap or something in these sections. Anyways, let's move on to the new features in the open zone area themselves. First off, we have photo mode. That's right, we finally have a photo mode that really should have came with the game initially, but better late than never, I guess. If I'm quite honest, I just think it's kind of okay. Don't get me wrong, it gets the job done, and I like the fact that it allows you to change the FOV to get some pretty dynamic looking photos. But compared to other games, this is just a very basic photo mode. The filters are pretty limiting with only a handful to choose from, and some are honestly not that great. I would have rather preferred actual sliders to adjust the colors myself, rather than relying on these presets. Outside of the filters, the camera controls itself are decent enough to control, and changing the camera speed does help a lot, but it is kind of annoying to control, especially if you're trying to take pictures close to the ground, close to Sonic, or by a wall, where it just stops and gets stuck at times, as if there's a real cameraman trying to take these photos. Now, this is all assuming you're taking the picture you wanted at the right time you wanted, because this photo mode is all on the mercy of you pausing the game at the right frame, which is hard to pull off at times, especially if you're trying to take pictures of Sonic doing his cool tricks in the air that are less than a second long. Which, on the topic of posing Sonic, I wish there was an option like in other games with photo modes, where you could select emotes for Sonics who perform, so you could get cool photos. Seems like a missed opportunity. Now, these are all just nitpicks to be fair. Like I said, it's a very basic photo mode, so enjoy yourself. Run all the way to the most beautiful locations in the game, and watch and bask in this game's glory in photo mode. Oh, God. Yeah, it's worth noting that you can't take pictures of Sonic in any of the underground areas in this game, or this weird glitch will happen, which is a shame because some of the most beautiful and unique areas in this entire game are the underground temples. This is a huge oversight that I hope gets patched because this is just unacceptable. Look, I know sometimes in game development things don't go right and things need to be restricted. Okay, that's fine. If the camera doesn't work underground, don't allow us to try it underground. There's moments in this game where photo mode becomes unavailable, like during certain boss fight sequences. If something like this couldn't be fixed in time for the update, why not just have photo mode become disabled when you go underground? Anyways, that covers the photo mode, and it's honestly okay, and I appreciate them adding this in regardless. This is all extra, so I can't really complain too much. Next, we have the Jukebox. Now you can listen to songs from other Sonic games in this game. At first, you only have a few songs to choose from, but thankfully there are notes that you can find in the open world to grow your list of songs, which is neat. I love the incentive to go out and collect these notes, but part of me kind of wishes they didn't tell you where they are on the map. I don't know, for some reason I really want it to be like a scavenger hunt and you get incentivized to explore these areas more. But honestly, it's really not a big deal, and now that I think about it, maybe it would have been annoying to not know if you got everything. But on the topic of which though, they did put notes on Island 4, and put some in the areas I talked about in my review that seemed unused. Which is nice that they ended up utilizing some of these areas in some way, even if it isn't that much. Regardless, this is a nice feature, and I'm a fan of the songs they selected too. Rather than just putting in any random Sonic music, most of the time they put in a lot of songs that match the environment of the zone you find it in, which is neat. Songs like Dusty Desert and Sonic 06 match perfectly in Ares Island, for example. So all of what we talked about so far are just the main features of this update, but they did take the time to add some quality of life stuff to this game as well. First off, you can now toggle the slot machine during the Starfall events on and off, as well as the power boost animation, which is a very welcomed addition, as it did get annoying to see these constantly interrupt the flow of the game over time. But that's not all. By far, the best fix they made is with the Elder Coco, which, if you remember from my review, I didn't have the kindest of words for him. The Elder Coco. Excuse my language, but this guy. You will only upgrade your stat points 1 point at a time, which is incredibly infuriating and not consistent. Thankfully, this is not the case anymore. You can now upgrade your speed and ring capacity in bulk, like the Hermit Coco. Thank God! Changes like this seriously brings this game to a whole new level in my opinion, and I really love that they did this. Another nice change now is that you could do a quick restart in Cyberspace levels using a button combination, kind of like Sonic Mania. What you have to do is press both the triggers and the select button at the same time. And that's really it for right now in terms of quality of life changes. And I say for right now, because it is important to note that Kishimoto did say on Twitter that among the feedback we received, there were some that needed careful adjustments. So we decided to take our time and not implement them in the first release. We're currently working on them for the second release, so please don't worry. Listening to everyone's feedback, we realized that this game could be made a lot more interesting without waiting for the next work. Which, like I said before, is beyond understandable. And seriously, I mean this. Sonic Team, thank you so much for everything you're doing. Going above and beyond to give us the best product possible is super admirable, and it really shows just how much you guys have changed since 2017. I mean, seriously, do you guys remember the Supersonic DLC update? Remember when that was a thing? Dear God. So yeah, if you are expecting more changes, keep your eyes peeled for the other updates. I seriously appreciate the team's transparency with this, and I'm really excited for what they have in store for us, whatever it may be. But we may already have an idea of what's to come in these updates, like I teased in the beginning of this video. Sonic fans did what they do best. They data mined the recent updates because of course they did. So what did they find? Well, for starters, there is a new Sonic song that I'm pretty sure is going to be used for Sonic's birthday. Just by listening to it, it sounds very cheery and all that. But that's not all. New character parameters for Tails, Knuckles, and Amy were found in the files as well, which isn't too much of a surprise. We already knew they were going to be playable based off the roadmap. But clearly Kishimoto is busy cooking in the background.
It's just delicious. It's crispy.
But that's not the only thing he seems to be cooking. Oh no, because someone else seemed to have found a new spin dash animation in the files called Spin Boost. Now this is a very similar animation to the drop dash, but don't get confused. Rest assured, this is different and was only found in the new update. Again, if you guys watched my last video, you would know that Kishimoto did say that he'll be prototyping some new stuff in these updates without the need of waiting for the next game, which is most likely what he's doing now. All I have to say is that I'm going to be very, very excited to see what comes out in these next two updates. Kishimoto is absolutely cooking, and I cannot wait for what he has in store for us. And that is update 1 for Sonic Frontiers. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and huge shout out to all my channel members. If you'd like to become a channel member yourself, it would be greatly appreciated, and it supports the channel. You'll also get some extra perks like custom emojis. If you liked the video, please leave a like and comment down below what you want to see in the next 2 updates for Sonic Frontiers. Regarding Sonic Frontiers, be sure to stay close to the channel and hit subscribe and hit the bell icon because I'll be covering everything when those updates drop. With all that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is Sam, signing out. See you later, Procrastinators.